Alright, welcome everyone. I am going to attempt to be in a positive mood because, let's see, it is 50 minutes after our attempted recording time, and it is nobody's fault but my PC, which has decided that it likes the blue screen of death a lot more than me, and if it wants to continue playing that game, I will show it what the blue screen of death truly means.
The rise of the machines has begun.
Yeah, it can go rise somewhere else, because I will put it down violently. This office is my dominion. So my poor little laptop, which has been hiding under a desk literally for the past 3 months, has been pulled out and is going to be chugging away faithfully. I love you, laptop. You're so good to me. And unfortunately, because I have never actually had the layout for the show on this laptop, I had to recreate the layout. I had to move all the graphics over from the PC. I had to get everything updated. And I am on the worst possible camera I could ever possibly be on because the light is literally right above my head. You can see the gleam
Ding!
coming off the dome. So hi everybody, how you doing?
All is well.
CC's
All is
kind of
well,
sick.
no complaints. I'm a little sick. I am a little sick. I'm hoping that it's just allergies. Because I don't want to have a cold, because that's just annoying.
So yes, welcome to episode 224 now. This is our 35th official episode. So we're chugging right along. I would be in a better mood, as I said, if not for the blue screens of death. Oh, I even forgot to turn the topic off over here. But, oh well, screw it. You're going to see it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just look at the red numbers. The red numbers are going up, which means we're recording. My volume is on, so fine. We're just doing this.
We're just doing this. Hell with everything.
Doing it. Deal with it. Oh, and for anyone who's wondering what's going on with the channel over on YouTube, I'm deleting some old episodes, cleaning some of them up and reposting them, but for the most part, deleting old episodes that no one will ever watch.
It's a news show, kind of. They won't be relevant anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, the Geekamole stuff is still there. I haven't touched it. It's all beautiful and it's all relevant. So.
Oh, okay.
You can watch that forever. I mean, 70 years from now, it'll totally be relevant. You can still watch it.
I can bet you 70 years from now, DC will give us things to talk about.
Well, if we're still doing this in 70 years, either we're dedicated or we love you fans.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you about DC's latest comic, Wonder Woman 35. Apparently when I'm an old man, I turn into Carol Channing, but whatever.
Apparently, yes.
Apparently.
And
so...
may you be so fortunate as to have drag queens make fun of you. So, moving on, as you can tell, our first topic is Surgeon Simulator, and we're going to get borderline political. We got borderline political last week with my previous co-host, but we're going to get borderline political again, and as always, we're not espousing a political opinion here. If you want to see our individual web pages, you may go there and see our political views.
I don't have a webpage anymore.
Facebook.
Oh.
In any case.
But as I was going to say, this Surgeon Simulator is one of those games I thought was of questionable taste to begin with, but it has recently come out with an anniversary edition with some updated graphics and new environments and some new achievements and a host of other upgrades, and it comes with a brand new patient, Donald Trump. Yeah. So if you want to conduct surgery on Donald Trump, you can now get a free DLC update.
Yes.
And this game, the update comes with a variety of new tools to play with, including Trump vodka and Trump steaks to help you with your surgery. And if you sign up on the dev's website, you can even get a makeup kit to help pretty Trump up, to make him pretty.
Yep.
The devs are even keeping track of whether the players give Trump a heart transplant made of gold or one made of stone. And as of last check, stone was winning. So yeah, Inside Donald Trump is a free DLC update for the Anniversary Edition, which is currently discounted on several major platforms. Otherwise, it'll cost you anywhere from $3 to $13, depending on whether you have the game and if so, what version. So moving on.
Well, there is something that needs to be said though. Once you have this update, you can say you are a great surgeon. Nobody greater than you. You're absolutely great.
If he lives.
If he lives.
If he lives.
So Sims 4, CC.
So Sims 4, they've got a new update coming up, or I don't know if it's already happened, but the Sims 4, it expands gender customization options, which means that you can put women in men's clothing, and you can mix up hairstyles, you can put men in women's clothing, you can pretty much change up things however you like to make you happy, you know? And I think that's pretty cool, because the goal of Sims is to just have this crazy alternate lifestyle. So I guess it honestly, I think this has been a long time coming. And it makes a lot of sense. I can't count how many times I've wanted to make a David Bowie, but have not really been available, have not really had been able to do that.
The choices to do that. And I know that Drew is going to make a house full of Drew Paul's Drag Race contestants.
Yeah, exactly.
Mouse,
so this is...
I have mods. I've already done it.
Oh, bitch! You have to.
Oh,
you have to share that.
I don't need to wait for Origin to do anything.
Yeah, but your computer is going to be a lot less likely to crash when it's the actual game and not a mod.
My computer's never crashed from Sims. It's crashed from XSplit.
So
you have just learned.
So this is just an interesting, cool little thing. This is not going to be any kind of commentary on the current state of transgenderism in America. I just think it's cool to be able to put men in dresses.
I'm going to create. I have a household. I'm going to put Bob the drag queen in my household.
Yeah.
Because that needs to be a thing. Everybody should have a little Bob in their lives.
So there you go. So I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Bob the drag queen, if you ever want to come on the show.
Yeah. Well, it additionally gives some body customization options stuff. So if you want to make a little more square woman, it's totally possible, or female, I should say, it's totally possible to do that. So vice versa. So I'm pretty excited. I think it's going to be fun.
Well, I mean, it not necessarily critiquing on the idea of the transgendered or whatnot. I mean, it does allow people to create Sims that they feel are more in keeping with their own personal,
yes,
perceptions of themselves or whatnot, or whatever. So, good on you, Origin, for one thing.
No, it's EA, not Origin.
EA, sorry. Good on you, EA, for one thing.
EA killed Origin.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I have to play the game by logging into Origin. I get it stuck in my head.
I know.
Next! Overwatch. Oh, Lord.
I love this topic. Oh, my God.
Yeah, this topic.
Oh, goodness. Where do I begin? Let's start with the least bad. Last month, Blizzard warned everyone that they would be banning players caught cheating without any second chances.
Yep.
After being live for roughly a week, Blizzard dropped the ban hammer on some people using a reported cheat program, even going so far as the creators of said cheat program going so far as to shut down the authentication servers until they could figure out what to do, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Amusingly, I checked out this program's website only to see that some of their customers, and yes, they charged people for this cheat program, were disgruntled at only getting a week's worth of gameplay before they were banned, and they were laying the blame on the programmer's doorstep. Really?
Not on their fault for cheating at the
really,
game.
people? Really?
Yeah, it's stupid. Like, I am 112% on Blizzard's side with this one. Blizzard especially has been really tough on cheaters because their games, a lot of people want to cheat on Blizzard games so much. And so I'm totally... Yeah, thank you for banning them. It makes my gameplay a lot more fun, because I don't want to log on to the game and just be, immediately shot down from across the map. That's stupid. That's not fun.
Blizzard have also released a new update that basically runs the service entirely on the salty tears of cheaters.
Yeah, totally. So some
They're like, oh no.
some players have apparently gone so far as to buy additional copies of the game, and have attempted to reinstall and play legitimately, only to receive the ban hammer again a day later.
Ooh.
So apparently Blizzard is just basically saying a collective "fuck you." We know where you are. You can't get in the game. We don't care what you're doing.
Oh.
Again, this is something that I'm 112% behind because it makes the gameplay a lot more fun for the rest of us. Because I know people who are cheating are like, well, it makes the game more fun for me. Well, fuck you.
Yeah.
This isn't about the game making... The problem...
Cheating is cheating.
It doesn't have to do with you.
It.
Cheating is cheating. No, it's just not acceptable. In a game like this, no.
Yeah,
You know,
fuck you.
Just
No,
no.
just no.
If it were, if
No.
cheating were intended to make the game more palatable, it would be built into the game. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
It wouldn't require a separate,
Yeah.
a separate program to do this. Apparently, in China, Blizzard announced that they had banned over 1,500 players, and went so far as to publicly disclose their usernames as well.
Ooh.
But if that wasn't bad enough,
Oh.
there's a second story along with this Overwatch shenanigans. Apparently, Pornhub has jumped on the Overwatch hype wagon. Yes, there are apparently Overwatch porn videos. So who knew? I guess you throw some Overwatch asset through Valve's Source Filmmaker Toolkit, and boom, you got porn.
Boom shakalaka.
But apparently, there's already a security firm out there, supposedly hired by Blizzard. It's not Blizzard itself, but it's a security firm called Erdetto, and they have already issued the takedown orders. So, if you want your porn fixed, you better get
Download them.
You better download them or commit them to memory. But yeah, porn.
Oh God!
Again,
Really,
this is not
people-
something I have a problem with.
I mean, I realize most of the porn has to deal with what's her face, the one who showed her butt, and they had to take that away.
Tracer.
Where's pants?
But knowing that there's a giant gorilla and
Yeah. Like, I don't really have a problem with this one either. This one's fine by me because it's Blizzard saying, hey, stop using our intellectual property to make money using out of porn.
porn.
If you want to use porn, well, first of all, if they're charging for it, then yeah.
Go write /fiction like everybody else.
Yeah, go for it /fiction, or create your own assets.
Well, here's the thing. If you go through things like Pornhub, I personally don't use it, but I know that the way that places like Pornhub make money, even with the free videos, have to do with ads. So they are making money off of these things.
Yep.
Now, there's a difference in somebody just creating something on
For affinity.
Valve's, just by themselves and being like, yeah, I dig it, and distributing it online via something like Pornhub. That's not okay. Like, it's their intellectual property.
Yeah.
Don't make money off of other people's stuff, ignoring the fact that it's porn.
Yeah.
The fact remains that they're making money off of somebody else's stuff.
I just find it so interesting that Overwatch has become such a success. Like this, it was an overnight. Well, no, the hype was there, but it actually lived up to the hype. It's been so successful, and now there's apparently this porn explosion over the internet. Rule 34 has conquered the internet with Overwatch.
Yeah.
So I'm really people. So I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Next up, Renowned Explorers.
This is beautiful. Okay, so those of you who bought Renowned Explorers, which is an adorable indie game that is sort of a throwback to the age of adventure and exploration and archaeological exploration of the 1800s, and it's this adorable turn-based tactical RPG with resource management, allocation, etc. It's really, really cool. And it had a lot of randomly generated scenarios, but with specific set pieces. And perhaps the only bad thing about the game was that it had a limited content. So after you had played your way through several campaigns, you more or less knew the gist of the scenarios. There's a shit ton of characters that you can use for combinations, so that adds replay. But knowing that this is an issue, Abbey Games have created this new DLC which goes for like $2 or whatnot. It's the additional expansion for Renowned Explorers, and it adds several new campaigns, a new end game that is even more difficult than the last one, which makes me shudder because the end game in the regular game was pretty goddamn fucking hard. It was very, very strategy oriented, but they've also added this really cool little camping minigame where your characters tell stories, and it works like a tradable card game, and that will change the strategy of your campaign and add bonuses and whatnot. So it looks pretty cool. I bought it yesterday, so we got back from studying with the goddess of singing, so we got back at 11 p.m. So I have not played it.
Well, we also had some really bad traffic, but
bad traffic, and we spent a lot of time buying things we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Well, no regrets, no freaking regrets. Books, so many books, and pizza.
Books are never a bad thing.
No, they're not.
They're beautiful, beautiful keepsakes.
Let's just say that we found the place that is like our mecca, because it's this pizza place that is also a coffee shop and a bookstore.
Oh,
and a toy store.
A toy store.
I'm still holding out hope for that picture that was it George Takei who posted? I forget who posted it, but it was on Facebook. But it was the theater that was turned into a bookstore in Brazil.
Yes, that's a beautiful thing.
I'm like, I want that. I want to find a theater
and turn it
into a gigantic bookstore.
So, anyways, get the DLC. It's really, really cool. It looks really, really cool, and the game is adorable. So I already recommended Renowned Explorer to anyone who sees it. So give it a try.
Next up, Forge World.
Forge World returns to Games Workshop stores. That's going to be really, really interesting because for a long time, Forge World has only been available online through their website. And that's how I've always bought Forge World things. But I'm pretty excited. You know, it's going to come to the actual physical stores. I don't know. I mean, obviously, that's whether or not that's a good thing is going to depend on whether or not you buy your models from a local Games Workshop stores. Period. I don't think that it's to any other stores, just Games Workshop. So, you know, I know some store owners who have their own traditional games stores, and they can't do that there. But it looks like it's going to be. They're doing it as an experiment to see whether or not they can make money off of that. I hope they can. I hope it turns out to be a good investment. And the nice thing about Forge World and Games Workshop miniatures is that they don't expire. So you can so even if you do own one of these stores, you can get one model of each thing, put it up on the shelves, and you know if people buy it, you know, however long, depending on whether or not that's a good use of your shelf space, obviously. You know, it's not necessarily going to go bad. You're going to be like, well, can't use this. It's 3 months old. No, it's a model. It's a plastic model. I have models that I've had since like 1992 or something. So
were you alive back then?
I was very small. Maybe it wasn't 1982, but
rolling my eyes.
Yeah. Anyway. So yeah. They're going to be at Games Workshop stores. Interesting. Maybe check it out if you have one nearby you.
And that ends today, doesn't it? Isn't it this weekend?
I am not certain.
I
think it's... No, it starts June 25th.
Oh, okay. Sorry. One weekend only, though.
I don't think so.
Sorry, I was skimming really quickly.
Yeah, it's not everything. I think it's just the special edition Tartarus Terminator, from what I understand. I'm a little confused. I don't think it's just a single weekend. I think that they just have that for that brief time only.
All right.
So
next up. All right. So we previously announced the dismantling of Lionhead Studios and the functional shelving of all things Fable, including the incomplete Fable Legends. Well,
and the Acorns.
And the Acorns. Well, it turns out there was one last aspect of the Fable legacy that did manage to survive Lionhead. and that's a Hearthstone-esque game known as Fable Fortune. Apparently a team of Lionhead X devs, now known as Flaming Fowl Studios, they've been given the go-ahead by Microsoft to hold on to the Fable branding and to take the game to Kickstarter. Game is intended to be free-to-play, with PC and Xbox One being the initial platforms and a possible port to phones to follow. Although the game currently looks fairly polished, the team is asking for over $365,000 to bring it to completion. Currently has 23 days left to go, and it's just sort of 60K down. So they got about 305,000 it's got to go to.
But you said they have another how many days?
23.
23, so it's possible.
It's possible.
But we'll see.
Likely.
I'm just a little irritated at Microsoft going, yeah, go to Kickstarter. Really, Microsoft?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is we have to remember that the Fable brand has been tainted.
Yes.
So, I can see why Microsoft would not want to.
But at the same time,
put stake on it,
the
'cause-
game is fairly polished. I mean, I can't imagine what much more they need to do.
Well,
And Microsoft could have afforded to go, you know what, hey, it's almost done, just finish it.
Well, the taint of Peter Molyneux follows.
But at least they're sharing the brand. At least they're allowing the brand to be used, unlike other companies, NCSoft, that I could mention.
Yeah, fuck you, NCSoft.
So, yeah, moving on. Mouse.
What am I talking about? Oh, yes, Pathways, right?
Yes.
So, I don't know if any of you have played a game that came out in 2014, and you can get it on Steam, called Halfway, which is basically this strategy game, sci-fi thing. This beautiful pixel art and whatnot. And it was pretty successful, and it was a lot of fun to play. I have it on Steam, and I've played quite a while on it. They are apparently. This is the, I don't know, this is sort of a trend that's starting since we just had Kim 2, the game that was based on Rudyard Kipling's novels. It's now on Steam as well. But this game is basically set in the 1930s. It's called Pathways, and it's going to be, you take control of a group of artifact recovery specialists. In other words, fucking Tomb Raiders. And you are on a race against the evil German forces. They're trying to find this lost civilization and getting these powerful relics out of their hands. So basically, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, but as a tactical RPG. And it looks like a lot of fun. I love the art and the pixel art for them. But then again, they have always done beautiful stuff. It's set to be released in 2017 for the PC, Mac, and Linux.
Right. Next up, CC.
Okay, new Dungeons & Dragons. Storm King's Thunder for $49.95. It's being released on September 5th. It's going to be a 256-page adventure for characters 1 to 11 plus. It's going to be awesome. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't played it. It could be lame, but it exists. Also, Volo's Guide to Monsters is coming out November 15th. This is another Dungeons & Dragons book. It looks like it's going to be extra monster manual kind of thing. So it's got the story behind D&D's most popular and iconic monsters, got extra access to rules and story for dozens of new monsters for 5th edition, and it opens up new race options, including the Goblin, Orc, and Furbolg. So that's going to be cool, maybe? I'm definitely interested in it. They've got a new miniature for the Storm King's Thunder for $15.99. That's coming out September 1st. So I'm pretty excited. Yeah, cool stuff, maybe. Maybe not. Worth looking into if you're a D&D fan.
And for those who like Pathfinder Ultimate Intrigue, I don't have a graphic for it, but Ultimate Intrigue just came out, and I have that, and that's really cool, too. So, next up, Mouse Unity.
Unity has made some changes starting in this month. They're changing a little bit of their business models. Now, from the get-go, now Unity is going to support all platforms. You don't need to buy the iOS or Android add-ons. Everything is included. All updates are now, and they will be more regular with no extra costs. But they're switching over to a subscription-based model. The Unity Personal is still free. It is fully featured with the revenue or funding cap of $100,000 per year, which means that you can't use that the Unity Personal if you make more than $100,000 a year of your sales of your game, you fucking lucky devil. Then Unity Plus is changed to a $35 a month for 12-month plan or a $49 a month for a monthly plan. Unity Pro is now $125 a month with 1 year commitment with no revenue cap. And there's, of course, the Unity Enterprise, for larger companies that are willing to negotiate, whatever. One thing that they've added, though, is the pay-to-own option, which is existing perpetual customers who were already on the plan can now purchase either a 24 or 36-month prepaid subscription to Pro, and once that is done, they can own the software. For the new customers, they have to sign on to the 36 months pay-to-own option at $125, which is, of course, a total of like $4,000. Which still, you pay on a monthly installments. So that's the news with Unity. I kind of like the idea that they're letting the free users have all of the support for the iOS and Android without having to purchase the extra add-ons. That's really cool.
All right, next up, GOG recently implemented a new service known as GOG Connect, which will allow users to basically import their games from their Steam accounts directly into their GOG libraries. Not every game is eligible. They are actually kind of rotating them for various periods of eligibility. But the premise here is to allow you to basically have DRM-free versions of the games that you would ordinarily get off Steam. I suppose this would be a great thing if you fear Steam is going away, or if you just don't want to deal with the Steam interface and you want a DRM-free version of it. But personally, because I play everything through Steam, I'd rather go the reverse, because I'd rather have my GOG games pulled in there. But that's me. I'm weird.
GOG is a very nice little platform because it's DRM free, so you can put it.
So.
But you're weird, so.
Yeah, I'm weird, so that's a thing. So there you go.
That's a thing.
Next up, DC's Rebirth is almost DC Redemption. Mouse.
Okay, so let's talk about pre-order sales advanced reorder. We have something that hasn't happened in a long time. DC is actually topping the reorder charts, and for the first time, and I want to say 10 years. How long has it been since Greg Rucka has wrote Wonder Woman? 15 years, something like that.
I don't know.
Wonder Woman is number one. That is, Wonder Woman number one is at number one. And in fact, if you look at all of the reorders, they're let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're on the top 7 with Star Wars Force Awakens adaptation number 1 being at number 8. But then we have more. We have Action Comics for the 8th, and Aquaman number 9 for number 9, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers at number 10. So what's going on with Rebirth? I read the first the Rebirth number 1 one shot written by Geoff Johns, who is which is actually the last comic he's going to write for a while, as he focuses on, how can I say this tactfully, trying to fix the DC cinematic universe because they're worried. But so. This post is going to contain spoilers, so I'm going to wave the spoiler skunk around, and if you don't want to you'd have this spoiled, move on. I'll include the link to when I stop talking about the spoilers. I will, not you, Drew. I will, because I know you hate doing that.
You could hold up the skunk the whole time that you're saying a spoiler, and that way when they
say as long as you see the little DC Rebirth logo on the screen, it's going to be spoilers. And when I get to my section, there's going to be spoilers. But let's move quickly because I don't want the laptop to die a second time.
All right, yes, I will hold the skunk. I like that idea. Anyways, so it's an 80-page extravaganza for only $2, and basically what DC is trying to do is they're not rebooting the New 52. They're kind of revealing that the New 52, which came right after Flashpoint, was actually the meddling of another powerful supervillain, or entity that that has been hinted at being Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen, and this definitely puts Watchmen and the DC universe in the same universe now.
Just as a heads up, Mouse, we actually went over quite a bit of that last week.
Damn it. Well, then what am I holding the skunk for?
I don't know.
Well, so
I gave the spoiler warning last week, so you can skip ahead to what you were going to talk about.
Well, okay, so actually reading that, and I've read Superman Rebirth #1, and DC is doing some interesting things. They're kind of trying to move away from the grim dark and trying to regain some of the feeling of the old DC. There is some trepidation by fans and people who were basically feeling that this is DC trying to lay the blame on Alan Moore and Watchmen, sort of turning Watchmen into the scapegoat, basically saying, "Oh, it's their fault," when in truth, it was DC editorial who got on board and they said basically, "Oh, this Watchmen thing was incredibly successful beyond our wildest dreams. Let's try and replicate the formula everywhere." And I've ragged on Alan Moore, but a recent interview of his, which we covered in the last episode that I was in, where he basically said that Watchmen, he intended it to be a one sort of thing. That's not something that should be applied to all superhero books, and he thinks that doing that was a mistake. So I'm kind of more lenient on my take on him. So we'll see where DC decides to take Rebirth, because it's supposed to play, it's a whole arc that's going to take place over 2 years, where basically they're trying to find out who, although we already know who stole 10 years from their lives, and the repercussions from that. And Wally West is back, thank God. Now we have 2.
Yeah, we went over that last week too, believe me. This is the problem with changing hosts. They don't always see the show.
I was in Houston in a wedding, so I didn't really have time.
I'm not blaming you. I'm saying this is the problem when we change hosts. Believe me, they did things that I'm like, we kind of already covered that too. So. All right. Anything else for Rebirth?
No, that's it so far, since you covered so much of it.
Sorry. All right. Well, I'm going to hold up the spoiler creepy Japanese doll.
Oh God. Oh my God, that thing is staring right into my soul. I hate that thing.
That's the whole point. So
It's like Chun-Li of the Damned.
Chun-Li of the Damned, that's it. This is Chun-Li of the Damned. She's going to be my spoiler warning for you guys. For those of you who've been living under a rock or managed to somehow avoid the other geek podcasts, Marvel has thrown their plot twist of the Star-Spangled Avenger that would make M. Night Shyamalan do a double take. Hail Hydra. He is apparently a member in good standing of the evil organization and has been all along. This has caused a little bit of outrage amongst the fans. However, Stan Lee himself has come out in support of the development, referring to the concept as crazy, but it's a good idea. He's been quoted as saying, quote, "It's a hell of a clever idea. I don't know that I would ever have thought of it for him to be a double agent, but it's going to make you curious. It's going to make you want to read the books. They'll probably do a movie based on it. So look for that plot to continue to unfold to the next issue and issues to come." So creepy dog can go away now. Unless Mouse wants to keep her up for the next bit.
Yeah, keep that bitch up for the next bit.
Hail Hydra!
Creepy creature, my God. So, all good things must come to an end, as we all know, and it's kind of heartbreaking, really. Mike Mignola has closed the door for good on Hellboy. Hellboy has come to an end. The character, of course, died back in 2011, but since that time he has been spending time in hell, kicking ass, saving humans from the forces of hell, and completely obliterating the Lords of Hell. And now, basically this issue, the last issue, is turning off the lights and sending Hellboy off to his final, well-deserved rest. It doesn't end with ginormous explosion or a ginormous fight. It's just this very kind of heartbreaking and melancholic musing on ending and accepting the end, which Kotaku did point out, is reminiscent of a story that Mignola wrote with his daughter called the Magician and the Snake, which you should look up if you want to see it, because it's also kind of like, oh my god, my feels. So this is, however, not the end of the Hellboy comics. There will be a line of Hellboy comics exploring the early days of the character, but now we basically know how the story ends. And you can take that creepy bitch down now.
All right. Legion. We've talked about this a few times. I'm just going to cut to the chase on this one. FX has ordered an 8-episode. I don't know why only 8, but 8 episodes for next year. It's intended to debut in early 2017. Nick Rad, who's the president of original programming at FX, said that Noah Hawley's run on the award-winning Fargo. Basically, that's what's prompted them to allow him to basically reimagine this version of the X universe, so to speak. So it's set to start production in the summer in Vancouver, and episodes starting next year. We'll see how it goes.
Interesting.
Next up, Mouse, the DC Cinematic Universe.
So we've had, as we know, and we're not going to hold up any spoilers for this because it happened in March, February, what month?
It's not really spoilers unless we're actually spoiling something.
Yeah, like Superman died at the end of Dawn of Justice.
Okay, so that's a spoiler.
Yeah.
Well, Sorry, let me get the creepy doll back. I thought you were talking like news.
Well, no, it kind of puts things in perspective knowing that Superman died. Although, how long has this shit been out for?
Well, yeah, whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah, no need for the creepy bitch.
Yeah.
The actor who played Jor-El said that in a recent interview that the Warner Brothers actually had a number of Superman's Man of Steel sequels planned before they shifted gears to do Batman v Superman. So they were actually planning on doing what Marvel did, which is build up the character, his relationships, his world, his rogues gallery over several movies before, in order to have the audience actually give a damn and care about him before they killed him off. But as we can see, DC Warner Brothers kind of went for the instant gratification route and wanted us to care for Superman in 2 movies and then kill him.
They went for their premature ejaculation.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know how they're going to top that because emotionally. So this just really gives us a good of an X-ray into the kind of dumpster fire that is Warner Brothers DC, with them flailing around and making these bad decisions instead of looking at the Marvel model and going, okay, it worked for them, it can work for us. And even honestly, if people say you're copying Marvel's modus operandi, that's not necessarily a bad thing because it's successful. It's worse when you decide to break away from that and make random choices that don't really make any sense, and then you end up losing money or not making your goal, which for them was $1 billion, and they ended up at 800 million. So it was considered to be an underperforming movie. So, kind of sad. I would have... Well, no. If Zack Snyder would have also directed the sequels, the Man of Steel sequels, I would have hated them still. So, maybe it's a kind of a catch-22 there. If they had gone for a different director, okay. But sadness.
Moving on.
Okay.
Next up, Paramount has released a cryptic teaser and a new viral marketing campaign for the 5th installment of the Transformers franchise, The Last Knight. Apparently, there is. I've seen it. There's a YouTube video, and you can watch it after the show, which could happen at any point if the computer crashes again.
Yeah.
But basically, it has a what looks like a U.S. State Department file number 21.63 torn up appearance, and all you hear is what apparently is Morse code that says, "I'm coming for you May 31st." So filming has begun on Transformers in Cuba. Michael Bay is, of course, because, explosions. He is returning that. Cast includes Mark Wahlberg as Cade Yeager from the last movie, and Josh Duhamel is returning as Lieutenant Colonel Lennox from, I believe, the second or third movie.
I don't know. I only saw the first two and decided that I didn't want to deal with it anymore.
So, plot details are currently unknown, but if it involves Michael Bay, there will be explosions galore, a literally explosion orgasm.
Explogasm.
So, but it has something to do apparently.
It's a blowgasm.
It's a blowgasm. It's a baygasm. Although Michael Bay did basically say a couple years ago that the ship that was flown by Lockdown in Age of Extinction, which is called the Knights Temenos, may hint at what's to come. Apparently, quote, Lockdown ship has a lot of meaning that could go into other movies. There's a lot of backstory about that ship that's not laid out here, he said. So the film is scheduled to come out June 23rd in 2017. There will be already a Transformers 6 in June 8th of 2018, and Transformers 7 June 28th of 2019. So get ready to blow your load 3 times. Next up, Mouse Zootopia.
That just kind of killed my soul a little bit.
Well, get your soul back together and get on to the last topics.
All right,
Yeah.
so the last topics. So Zootopia has yet more accolades thrust upon it. It is now, it has now, at least as the time as Forbes reported, it was at $991 million worldwide, very close to the $1 billion mark. It is now the 4th biggest animated movie ever, after Toy Story 3, Minions, and Frozen. I didn't know Minions did that well. I never watched it.
Oh, they did very well.
Maybe I should watch it. And it's also the 2nd biggest original movie ever created. Now that means by original it is not a movie that was created based on an existing franchise. It's not a sequel. It's not a prequel. And in that category, it sits right behind James Cameron's Avatar. So good for Zootopia.
All right, and last but not least.
And in a bit of sad news, one of the stalwart animators from Studio Ghibli, Makiko Futaki, passed away on May 13th while being treated for a non-disclosed illness. She was 58 and she had a private funeral. Makiko caught the attention of Miyazaki when she was working on Nausicaa Valley of the Wind in 1984, and since then was basically involved in almost every one of the major movies of Hayao Miyazaki. Her style was praised as always being incredibly flowing and detail-oriented, and in fact, Miyazaki credited a lot of the details seen in, for example, Ponyo and Kiki's Delivery Service to Makiko Futaki. So it's sad that we lost another animator.
Actually,
Fucking 2016, really.
I actually saw notes that she was 57. I think that's everything I saw said she was 57.
57.
Everything I've seen says she's 58.
Oh, well, that's weird.
So 50-something.
50-something.
Maybe she died on her birthday. Who knows?
Could be.
Anyways, so that's it, guys. I'm not going to go too deep into what you're doing this week or what's going on next week because God knows I've got computers to repair and I don't want this computer to die while I'm in the middle of it. So I'm just going to say bye-bye, notice me senpai, and see you all next week, hopefully.
And subscribe. Follow us. Bye.
Yes.
Bye. See you later.